I could do things like use my knee, use my foot. I could sometimes even use my head to strip that grip, and then I can just go for that same escape. I bridge into him, I run toward his head, and I take my head out at the last minute. So we're gonna be going over some Kimura escapes, mainly like T-Kimura, where we're both on our backs facing the ceiling, and crucifix stuff. When my partner's on his back, he's maybe rolled me through with either a Kimura where he just has my hand, this is a T-Kimura situation, or if he has both my hands, this is a crucifix situation. Either he just has my arm, or I somehow managed to free my arm from the crucifix. I'm gonna go right for his wrist. Now, as I am bridging into him, I peel, I run my hips toward his head, and I look for either the back of his tricep or the back of his head. If you really want to end up on top, I would suggest the back of his tricep. I feel like when I get this grip, I bridge into him, I run around, I kind of slip my head around the corner here. I end up in a really good position to fight that battle for top position. Again, a lot of times he has a crucifix. I can use my legs and stuff like that to wedge my hand free. And now I'm just dealing with a Kimura here. Now, one of the things I want to do is I want to bridge into my partner, but not so much so that he could swivel his leg under and take my back. Exactly, so I want to be careful with that. Now I want to grip fight on this side. I don't want to grab my own hands. I would much rather grab the wrist that's controlling my wrist. Now from here I bridge into my partner. I strip this grip by peeling his thumb and punching my hand away. And now as I circle my legs toward north-south, I have two options here. I could either go around his neck and try to get on top of him. When I'm going around his neck, if he tries to turn on top, I have opportunities to go and stuff like that. Or I could get this sort of arm drag grip. So as we both fight for top position, I'm able to pin him down with this tricep grip here. Say maybe we're not physically strong enough to break this grip. One of the first things we can do is come inside and create a little distance. Now we could either, if we're flexible enough, get our foot through this hole. As you can see, I'm not necessarily flexible enough, but that's okay. I could just grab my foot and I could feed it through this hole here. And now as I turn belly down, I sprawl out, break his lock, and end up right on top of him. So this could get you out of some trouble when someone's really strong. They're really like flexing their wrists and keeping that Kimura really tight. So again, I'm here. I might separate it from my chest. Maybe I'll assist with my other hand just to make a little bit of space. I can grab my foot, stuff it through this hole, and now as I scissor my legs and turn belly up, I sprawl this leg back, breaking his Kimura. Another thing we can try to do, same thing, we're coming and reaching inside, trying to grab his wrist here. Now we use this connection we've created to try to lift his elbow off the ground and get our ribs underneath it. As we get our ribs underneath it, we walk our hips toward his head and turn his Kimura into my Kimura. We find the space underneath and we find his wrist. We lift his elbow so we can sneak our ribs underneath it. Now as we run around, I grab my own wrist on this side and his T-Kimura becomes my T-Kimura. I say the best one for last, super sick crucifix escape that I've been working on for a while. And if you watched my match on Thursday Night Jiu-Jitsu recently, I hit this crucifix escape, so that was pretty cool. I always want to avoid this bottom leg crucifix. I feel like from here, my options are very limited, and he has a lot of options to attack me. So if I end up here, I'm always bridging and fighting and using my hands and my legs and whatever I can to get back to this top leg crucifix. I would much prefer to be in this situation. Now, the best case scenario is I can join my hands close enough to once again not lock my hands together, but grab onto his wrist the one that has a grip on my wrist, right? So if I can go and reach this all the way, this is going to be best case scenario, and I'm going to try to keep this grip throughout this entire escape. Now here I'm going to do a very similar thing as we did before. I'm going to strip this grip. I'm going to look either behind his head or behind his tricep, and as I walk toward his head, I'm going to slip my head through and end up right on top of my partner. I don't want to slip my head too early. If I get everything going, everything is perfect, and as I'm here and I'm bridging forward, I slip my head too early, there's a chance that I can bridge and come on top, but there's also a big chance he can bridge and come on top as well, right? So it becomes like a 50-50 battle. If I delay that head slip to the very end, I'm rolling over, my shoulder and my head are still on him. I'm walking toward his head. I flip my hips, make them face toward the ground. Only now I roll my head, and he never gets a good opportunity to flip back on top of me. Again, you can't always get it perfectly. So if I can't get my hands to connect and I can't use this free hand to strip this grip, I could do things like use my knee, use my foot. I could sometimes even use my head to strip that grip. So any limb I can use to strip my wrist free, and then I can just go for that same escape. I bridge into him, I run toward his head, and I take my head out at the last minute. It's a game of getting to the top leg crucifix, freeing my wrist, and then hitting escapes very similar to the ones